All right, welcome everybody again. This is lesson 2.2, and welcome to This is Why We Save. Okay, good lesson. In this lesson, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to identify everyday obstacles Americans experience when trying to save money. Because let's be real, if we wouldn't have this chapter if this was not a real problem. All right, understand why it is important to maintain an emergency fund. Describe your own savings goals as well as big picture reasons to save, such as college or retirement. Estimate the cost of medium and long-term goals. And what you got to do is learn to devise smaller periodic saving goals to reach them. So some of you in here are going to want to start your own business, but you're going to need the capital or the money to do it. You don't want to rely on other people to give you money to to be successful, okay? Now, sometimes we all need it, just like we made reference in the last lesson about Shark Tank, okay? Where somebody needed an initial investment or another investment after they basically mortgaged their house to succeed. And they usually do if you work hard enough. But you got to understand the complexity and the realities behind it, okay? So brainstorm, and we'll think about 5 reasons why it's sometimes difficult to save money. In class, we would do this. Outside of the class, think about reasons why it becomes difficult sometimes. Things unexpectedly break. You need to, all of a sudden, somebody needs a birthday gift. Holidays come around. Numerous things of why it is difficult sometimes to save money. Sometimes you're starving and then you realize that Mod Pizza or a Starbucks or some place that you love to eat is calling your name secretly saying, okay, and then you get out and you go buy it instead of saving your money. So 5 reasons why we impulse buy. Huge issue that a lot of people have, okay? It's time to stop filling up your home with products you don't use. Impulse buys are probably one of the worst things that you can do, whether it be gadgets in a kitchen, unconscious mind. Some people love shopping, okay? Loss aversion switch. I'm scrolling through this fast. I want you guys to make sure you stop and read the article, okay? Twisted even I have a hard time saying that word. I think it's heuristics, okay? Where you have an unconscious rule of thumb that helps us make quick decisions that were learned generally work out well, okay? It's one of those things where you guys have to understand what's there. Retailers take advantage of this, where you have an idea where they package up products as bulk buys, or they include free extras, and we get the impression that it's a good value, and we go with this feeling rather than researching any further. If you guys have ever seen during a lot of things, you'll see buy one get 4 free. You'll see candles, things go on sale like Bed Bath & Beyond. Where, like the products, they all smell good at Bath & Body Works. That's the main one where they sell candle. All of a sudden they have a candle and a discount, and you're like, ooh, these are great, this is smell good. But then they say, well, if you want the discount, you got to buy 5 of them, right? Fry's used to do that too. They do it all the time, making you realize when I was younger, I would do couponing with my kids, for my kids, and the reality is that we started to struggle because we were buying on the buy, you get buy 5, you save 5, okay? I had coupons for Fiber One bars, and my kids were in junior high and late elementary school, and I was couponing and saving a ton of money, okay? I mean, I was saving, I'd go to the cash register, and not only would I get a discount from Fry's, but with my coupon, I was buying these bars for like $1 a box, okay? And I was saving like $2 almost per box, and it was amazing. The problem was Fiber One bars, okay? And it started to become a problem. And so I thought it was a great deal, but it really was for financially, but it wasn't something that we needed. The desire to save, okay? Read this, and then rose-tinted lenses. Some of us in here, ladies and gentlemen, we look at things and we say, oh, it's okay, and we buy it anyways, right? But we need to learn to stop and control those impulses along the way. And that'll be something that we talk about, okay? Reasons why. Describe an example of a time when you experienced this, okay? Wrigley's chewing gum is the #1 example of how to be successful. Okay, Wrigley's gum, If you guys don't know what it is, it's spearmint. They have a peppermint, I believe, and then they had Big Red and Juicy Fruit. Those three: spearmint, Juicy Fruit, and Big Red. He was the first one, Wrigley was, to put it by the checkout. And people would walk through and they would see that and they're like, oh, I'll buy a pack of gum. Oh, I'll buy a pack of gum. And next thing you know, he made millionaires. And there's actually the Wrigley Mansion here in Phoenix that's up on the hill, based upon this idea. Now everybody does it, okay? If you've never heard a screaming child in Walmart or a Target, they want something that's sitting right there as you check out, right? And they start screaming, you're like, yay, yay, and you try to tell the kid no, and it's a problem, right? How Facebook can destroy your finances. Keeping up with the Joneses. Huge problem we have nowadays, not just with Facebook, but with social media in general, okay? When this article was written in 2016, a lot of big things were talked about with Facebook. Now it's kind of switched a little bit where you have a lot of areas and a lot of different apps that you guys go to, right? If you guys notice a couple different things, a big thing that you're going through now is some of you have Instagram, some of you have Twitter, and once you research something, it pops up all the time on your Instagram account, which is now controlled by Facebook, so you guys can see how there's a never-ending cycle, right? So as you're going through here, understand how your Facebook account can slowly destroy your finances, okay? Read this article. It's very interesting to kind of see that article and then one about keeping up with the Joneses, okay? Where there's a nice little picture here. As you can see, we've not only kept up with the Joneses, but surpassed them. Next week, the Nelsons, okay? Keeping up with the Joneses was an old analogy that basically talked about you having to spend your money to live above and beyond your means to create a show, okay? Now, for some of you in here, you guys have seen how I dress. I dress nicely, but I dress on a budget, okay? I have bought almost every shirt and pair of pants I've ever bought have always been on sale and always discounted steeply, all right? I wait. I am focused. I pay attention. And then when I find something, I get it. And then, ladies and gentlemen, it's good for years to come because I buy good quality stuff, okay? As much as I like to say I shop at Walmart and buy their shirts, I don't, okay? The main reason is the quality of it. You wash it like 4 or 5 times and then it's faded and it looks kind of nasty. I don't want that, okay? I want something to look nice, but I'm not going to go spend $70 on a shirt. No way, okay? I'm not going to spend more than $15 on a shirt. Every shirt I currently own, when I come in with the nice button-ups, I have never spent more than $12 on, okay? I've got them at a severely steep discount. And so just know that. And same with pants, okay? The most expensive pair of pants I own are black, and they cost $25, okay? It's part of a suit that I got half off. So I got it. Understand the process of that, and we'll talk more about that in the budgeting, but just understand that. Living in paycheck to paycheck. Watch this real quick.
Are you over 25?
As soon as we get done with the ad.
No DUIs?
Yeah, great job. Woo.
Living paycheck to paycheck? If so, you have plenty of company.
Eyewitness News reporter Bruce Kopp shows us new survey results that find nearly half of all Americans are now in that category.
This survey found they asked people, more consumers.
Joshua Weisskopf says he's not surprised with the latest findings. He can relate to them firsthand.
And it wasn't too long ago my wife and I were living paycheck to paycheck.
Joshua says he and his family have had to relocate to find work that offers enough pay to keep up with monthly expenses.
And we had to make some big changes to make some improvements.
He says something as simple as avoiding name brand products can make a difference in daily expenses. Expenses that have kept nearly half of Americans from saving enough.
A study commissioned by Fifth Third Bank finds that when it comes to saving money for the big things, like a home, a car, or a college education, many Americans aren't saving anything.
The survey finds that 47% say they frequently live paycheck to paycheck. Another survey finds that 63% don't have the savings to cover a $500 car repair or a $1,000 medical bill.
I would say just impulse buying. A lot of people spend money on things they can't afford.
I think people just choose to do other things as opposed to save.
What the issue is not focusing on a budget.
Financial planner Bill Cummins says the goal is to have 3 to 6 months of living expenses at all times. For those short on money, that is a daunting task. So the approach, he says, is baby steps to consistently save small amounts until you reach your goal.
By the time they do that, they've learned how to cut back on expenses and do some saving, and they can transfer that same skill to start reaching out to meet the 3 to 6 month savings goal.
Financial planners say putting away as little as $40 a month can be a productive start. As that reserve grows, keep building to reach the goal to cover 3 to 6 months of expenses.
Plenty of time.
All right, so I'm going to stop that and we'll go from there. So understand, watching it, I explain what causes people, okay? We don't have anything here, but what I want to make sure is you guys understand. If we were in class, I'd ask you, without having money left over, people live paycheck to paycheck, and it's actually worse probably nowadays than it is ever before. And a lot of it was actually come to fruition during our shutdown. Okay, when people were living paycheck to paycheck, I know quite a few individuals that actually they lost their apartments. We had to freeze rent. A lot of things happened during that time where people realized, uh-oh, I have to have a savings account. And so they went from there, all right? So 3 things you need to know about an emergency fund. When you click on this link, ladies and gentlemen, you have another little quick video that I'd want you to watch, okay? When you're doing that, I want you to ask yourself and answer the following questions. Why do you think they recommend this? Why shouldn't you keep your emergency fund in your checking account? And which one of these is a good reason to tap into your emergency fund? Look at those things and realize what the importance of them are, okay? And then planning for retirement in your 20s. It's never too early to start saving, okay? I cannot stress enough, we will have an activity in here about compound interest. And we'll do that. And I know you guys learned compound interest in Algebra 1, and you're like, this is boring junk. Ladies and gentlemen, this is real life, okay? I can't stress enough that at a young age, if you start investing your money now into a compound interest formula, or saving it and putting it away into a 401k, or maxing it out at your age, because you can only put so much money in a year into a 401k, but most of you can earn that in Arizona relatively quickly. I don't know what the stipulation is now for a 401k. I don't know the dollar amount. I'll have to look that up, but I know there is a certain limit that you can put into. Like here is a Roth IRA, where this was done in 2015, okay? A gentleman just let you know that you would be eligible to open a Roth IRA once you turn 18. You would want to put that money away. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe the increase, this article is written in 2015. This increase that has increased every year. A Roth IRA is something where you put in investment money. We'll talk more in investments about it. Where a Roth IRA is you pay taxes on your money now, you put it into a Roth IRA, and so that way when you become 65 or older, when you're down that road and you want to pull it out, you pull it out tax free, okay? So understand that taxes are always going to go up. And then we'll go from there. We're not going to do this analyzing investing. College loans, 15 ways to reduce. Read this article, please, and understand what they're trying to do. Take time to save. Everybody in here still has time to save for college. Some other tips they have: choose an affordable one, stay local, fill out the FAFSA for early, apply for lots of scholarships, search for grants, meet with your advisor regularly. A lot of cool tips in there about it. One thing is when I say stay locally, we will talk a little bit about that as we go through this process when we get into this evaluation, because what you guys need to understand is that in state tuition versus out-of-state tuition is ridiculously expensive. If you're going to move out of state and go to college somewhere, you're going to need to get a job first and develop a residency for a year before you go to a university. Otherwise, when we look at it later on, when we do the chapter about paying for college, you guys will realize that you're going to be doubling your tuition if you are not an in-state resident. Okay, so that's one thing to think about. One other aspect about savings, and we're skipping all these create and calculate because we don't have time, and that's a worksheet that we will be doing. One of the things I want to make sure you guys understand as a young person is what's called
Paying for
a health savings account. Now, an HSA is a good opportunity for you to save money. Now, this is for an individual that does not have major health problems. or is not risky with their health. Okay, like for example, going off and jumping off cliffs in the lakes locally here. One of the things is that you guys need to understand, HSA is a health savings account. It's an insurance for medical expenses, but what it is you pay a small premium, but what it's doing is it gives you basically a discount at a medical provider. And we'll talk more about this at the end of the year when we get into insurance, because right now you guys are probably like, I don't really care because I'm on my parents and I've got plenty of time and blah, blah, blah. Okay, so what you guys need to know is we'll talk about later is there's an overview about it, about a good side and a bad side of an HSA, okay, where you can basically, if you never go to the doctor at all, you can save up a bunch of money, but it has to be used for medical expenses. But if, say, you don't have to go to the doctor for like years and years and years, you can actually take that money in a health savings account and roll it into an investment, and it will actually make money for you while it's still waiting for you. And what it is most health savings accounts have a cap of how much money you have to spend on your medical expenses, and then an insurance company will pay the rest, okay? So what you need to understand is you can actually save up a lot of money within the first couple of years, maybe not go to the doctor if you don't have to, and then, ladies and gentlemen, you'll have this huge nest egg, so if you ever have an emergency, everything is gonna be paid for. This is something that's relatively new over the last I'd say the last 10 years, and it's something that I think every young person should look at, because it will pay for a majority of your medical expenses, and it is a great way to save money. Is your piggy bank a source of happiness? Here's a brief article. Read it, please. Finish up with the exit tickets, and we'll be done. Long lesson, right? A lot of material to go over. This will probably take a day or two in class, okay? Because the main thing I want to focus on with you guys is understanding all the different nuances of savings. If you have any questions, please come see me in class. Get this student activity packet done, fill in the notes, and hand it in. Ladies and gentlemen, that's it for this lesson. Until next time, I'll see you guys shortly.